Well, I wanted to explore marine biology for the bone bed, and so I spent a lot of time with the New England Aquarium in turtle research. There's sea turtles and a wide variety of these amazing creatures. Of course, I love all marine, mammals and the reptiles. And while I was doing this, I got introduced to a particular type of turtle that is really considered prehistoric, and it's almost extinct, and they can become extremely huge. And they really date back to the dinosaur period, about 70 million years ago, which dovetailed right into my doing a dinosaur dig. And I thought, what if Scarpetta worked a case that involves something extremely old and something where she has to extract evidence from a very large creature and also make sure that its life is saved. So that just spun off into what I think is a really fun adventure. Well, the really cool thing about the bone bed is I'd never heard of such a thing before. And when Donna Dixon Aykroyd called me and said, would you and Stacy like to go on a dinosaur dig? She was talking about this bone bed up in Grand Prairie, on Alberta, Canada. And I said, bone bed? Now that's a term I've never heard before. And of course, it literally is a bed of bones where you have, in this case, perhaps hundreds of dinosaurs. These creatures died probably all at once, and over millions of years, their bones were traveled, were moved by just the physics of what the earth is doing, and water and all sorts of things. They end up collecting in one area, which is where the paleontologists have been excavating for quite a long time. And so I just thought it was a cool phrase. I found lots of dinosaur bones, and you have to know what to look for because they look like rocks, but if you look at them closely, they begin to take on the shape of the bones that they are, but they're petrified. And so it's interesting how at first what becomes just stones lying on the earth or in the mud, as you begin to get acclimated, you begin to piece together this creature. Well, to get to this particular bone bed, we had to ride a jet boat on a river for about 45 minutes because this was only accessible by helicopter or boat. And it was a very steep mountainside. And I took some pictures while I was on the jet boat. And later when I was looking at them, there was a picture actually of myself on the back. And because of the way the sun was positioned, it really burned out all the images. And all you saw was an outline of a person on the back of a boat with huge white churning wake, and then this amazing part of the world that looks like no one's ever been there before. And that created a thought of mystery in my mind. I wondered what would happen if Scarpetta got an image like that anonymously that was accompanied by something very sinister, and she would have to figure out who is this person, who sent this to me, and what's going to happen next. I think the way I write my books now is dramatically different from the way it was in the very beginning more than 20 years ago. Back then I was very much influenced by the linear quality of the genre, which is you're supposed to have a beginning, a middle, and end, and you solve a mystery, so to speak, and we're not so interested in the lives of the characters or the psychology of these people. It's more about the whodunit quality, and I didn't like that from the start. And actually, with postmortem, 60 pages actually got edited out because I had so much about Scarpetta's personal life and other details that somebody decided shouldn't be there in that type of book. Now things have changed very dramatically. I think that people are much more interested in characters. They want to know who these people are, why they live this way, what it feels like, what they do with each other and to each other, why are killers the way they are, what happened to the victim, and what did that person do that might have helped lead up to it, and all these sorts of questions. And I think in part the other aspect of this for me is, in the beginning, the forensics and the procedural qualities of what I did were extremely important because nobody else was doing that. No one was telling you what forensic fire investigation was like. Now, with all these shows all over television, I don't feel as compelled to be quite as nitpicky about all the procedures. I'd rather explore the characters and have the procedures just be something that's part of the backdrop of the story. It's all there, but that's not the major point of it. Well, one of the great things about social networking, particularly Facebook, Twitter, Google+, is I start hearing directly from my readers. And when they continue to raise questions such as what's happened to so-and-so, are we ever going to see this particular character again, it actually gets me thinking. And I had a question repeated to me through the social networking is whatever happened to Dr. Anna Zenner? And I thought, I'm going to answer that in this book. And I'm not going to say what the answer is, but in a way, you will have that question answered about what happened to this character that nobody has really seen since the last precinct. It's been about 12 years. So my fans help inform me, and when they tell me enough times, I want to know what happened to this particular person, or I'd like to see, oh, there's also another character, and this happens, of course, towards the end, and I'm not going to say a word about who this is, but it's going to be a very big surprise.